This is the part where I beg you to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will know when new shows are uploaded. This is me begging. Just do it. Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to Real Bad News Live. I'm Elvis Kennedy, and you are not. Is an 8 ball of prevention worth a kilogram of cure? In Oregon it is. That far-left bastion of insanity just became the first state in the nation to decriminalize the possession of all illegal drugs, even the really fun ones. Meanwhile, on the east coast of the nation, with thousands of troops still hanging around Washington and 500 more a day pouring in, a lot of the country is starting to wonder just what the hell is going on. Now that the inauguration is over, why does D.C. continue to look like a banana republic? And not the good kind, like at the mall where you can buy cheap pants. More like the Noriega kind. Fortunately, the never overreacting Mayor Muriel Bowser has warned that following the violence on January the 6th, more than a month ago, residents should prepare for a new normal and continues to order more troops. I guess she doesn't feel safe with only 35,000 there. I never thought I'd say this, but I miss you, Marion Barry. Marion, if you're up there smoking a rock with the angels, we're sorry. And prepare for a new normal? Every time the government tells me to prepare for a new normal, I break out in hives because the new normals always suck. They're terrible, and each one is worse than the last. Not in the old normal was perfect, but this is getting absurd. Is this like the 2 weeks to flatten the curve new normal, which has continued for almost a year? Rioting continues for the 300th consecutive night in Portlandistan. When asked why they are rioting, Antifa said, "We don't want Biden, we want revenge." Finally, something we can all agree on. And we're all mad here in Washington, D.C. Biden picks an obese man in a dress as health secretary. Speaking of Joe Biden, who only last year declared that the use of executive orders was a moniker of a dictatorship, crushed all previous presidential records by signing 52 executive orders in his first 2 weeks in office, causing his creepy old man hand to cramp up like an incel's at an adult video convention. He then handed his sacred crayons out to an adoring press who fought over them like they were guitar picks tossed out at a rock concert. Remember those? In the before times, thousands of us would get together to hear live music. The before times. Back in Washington, Trump has been impeached again, and Democrats have announced they will also impeach Ronald Reagan. Nancy Pelosi said, and I'm making this up, "We hate to dig up old wounds, but we feel we must to create unity," then called for Reagan's exhumation. In a further attempt to unify the nation, Ms. Pelosi gleefully banned mean, unsafe, horrible words like mommy and daddy from use in Washington, preferring to call them birthalizers and DNAers. Not to be outdone, former bartender and role model for strippers everywhere, AOC called for further unity in the form of government-run centers where conservatives can be liberated from evil thoughts and assigned new ones. She proposed calling these locations like camps for concentrating or something. And in still further attempts at creating unity from the left, James Comey promised to burn down the Republican Party. I don't know about you, but I can almost taste the unity. In other news, Kamala Harris's stepchild is doing their part to unify the nation by getting into modeling. And having seen the pictures, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that the huge contract offered to the 22-year-old by IMG, the same mega agency that represents supermodels like Kate Moss, Gigi Hadid, and Giselle, had absolutely nothing to do with politics. Biden's first week in office hasn't been all play and vengeance, though. In an attempt to get Greta Thunberg to let him sniff her, he has begun shipping uranium to Iran again, to help them get that mean old planet-destroying fossil fuel monkey off their backs. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, who was also elected just like Joe Biden in a totally fair fashion with no monkey business whatsoever, was quoted as saying, "Thank you, Mr. Obama," before muttering something about Great Satan USA, "I kill you." Investigators have already found weapons-grade uranium in Iran, but please rest assured that this is just a coincidence and you are a xenophobe. Moving on now to big tech news. Twitter's very own Malibu bin Laden began ranting and raving about how he hates to ban people, but Twitter, not the service but the bird that lives in his beard, is demanding he stop the word vibrations coming out of the former president's mouth to save Mordor, proving he is in fact nuttier than being gang teabagged and begging the question, is vegan meth a thing? When asked for comment, Facebook's very own Mark Zuckerberg stared blankly into the camera and began beeping. Everyone's favorite "I'll be a real boy someday" man thing had to be rushed to a charging station where he is reportedly in stable condition. More unity comes from Dallas's very own Mavericks as team owner, billionaire, and all-around douchebag Mark Cuban announces that the national anthem will no longer be played at games. It is rumored that instead of our national anthem, former Mavericks star and close personal friend of Kim Jong-un, Dennis Rodman, will sing the North Korean national anthem, whose title loosely translates to "Stand or Die." On a humorous note, formerly relevant former rock star and current referrer to himself in the third person has-been Bruce the Boss Springsteen got a DWI. The arresting park ranger claimed to have observed the musician consume a shot of Patron before getting on his motorcycle and starting the engine. Ranger Hayes claims he informed Springsteen, a New Jersey native, like anyone doesn't know that drinking on the park premises is prohibited. I assume the reply was, "The boss does whatever the boss wants to do." The boss's big-ass Patron tequila bottle that the shot was poured out of was reportedly completely empty after the shot was poured. The ranger also writes, "I asked Springsteen if he was leaving, and he said yes. He smelled strongly of alcohol and had glassy eyes," the report states. "The boss's eyes are always glassy." Springsteen refused to take a preliminary breath test despite signs of intoxication, and Ranger Hayes alleged in the document. "The boss don't take no test. He's the boss. The boss was arrested. The boss was unhappy in jail. Racism. The boss discovered Courtney Cox. The boss may have even plowed that. No one will ever know. The boss doesn't kiss and tell. The boss is just like you. If you live in a multi-million-dollar compound, drink Patron and ride your Harley when you're on your private jet. He's just like you. More accurately, he's more like your alcoholic mush-mouthed uncle who smells like cheese and constantly brags about wars he never fought in, countries he doesn't even like, and politics he doesn't understand. The boss doesn't like this show. The boss ain't happy. The boss needs a Patron shot with an insured back. The boss..." And finally, from the Unintended Consequences Department, transgendered MMA fighter Fallon Fox has set a new record, breaking 2 biological women's skulls in the ring. You go, girl. You are a strong, powerful, independent woman and shouldn't let the fact that you used to be a dude stop you from destroying every gal that steps into that octagon with you. Own that octagon. That's real bad news for tonight. Stay skeptical, my friends. And once again, this is the part where I beg you to like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you'll know when I upload new shows. This is me begging. Just do it. Thank you.